A few weeks ago, a video showcasing the grandeur of Changi Airport in Singapore went viral, sparking awe among millions of viewers across social media platforms. Far from an ordinary airport, Changi has transformed into a global icon, seamlessly blending architectural artistry, cutting-edge technology, and sustainability into one harmonious entity. Its title as the world's best airport for 8 consecutive years is a testament to its uncompromising pursuit of perfection. Changi's excellence begins with Jewel, a billion-dollar masterpiece greeting every visitor. At its heart stands the Rain Vortex, the world's tallest indoor waterfall, soaring 40 meters high, surrounded by the Shiseido Forest Valley, a 22,000 square meter artificial forest ecosystem housing over 200 species of tropical plants. What makes it even more impressive is the advanced water recycling system behind this spectacle, capable of processing 500,000 liters of rainwater daily to meet the irrigation needs of the entire complex. Changi's Terminal 4 revolutionizes the air travel experience. The fast facial recognition immigration system enables check-in in just 15 seconds, while a network of 2,000 integrated IoT sensors ensures the automated baggage system operates with 99.9% accuracy. Even its restrooms have won international awards for their ergonomic design and impeccable cleanliness standards. Like Terminal 5, being built with steely determination, Singapore consistently pushes the boundaries of urban innovation. But a philosophical question lingers. To what extent is the world ready to adopt a model that combines technological advancement with strict social control? The answer may shape the face of urban civilization in the coming decades. In recent years, an intriguing trend has emerged online, where many, especially those with progressive views, consistently praise Singapore as the model city of the future. Viral videos showcasing the integration of green spaces with urban architecture are no coincidence, but a reflection of revolutionary urban policies. Strict regulations in Singapore mandate that developers replace all green land used for construction with equivalent vertical vegetation on the buildings themselves. This policy isn't mere symbolic compensation, but a measurable, planned ecological transformation. The Park Royal Collection Pickering stands as proof, featuring over 200% green space relative to its land footprint. This building doesn't just meet obligations, it exceeds them, creating a vertical ecosystem with 15,000 square meters of sky gardens, reflecting pools, and elevated walkways seamlessly blending into its design. More impressive is its functional impact. Buildings with this much vegetation reduce energy consumption by 30%, lower urban temperatures by 2 degrees Celsius, and filter 45% more air pollutants. This microclimate effect makes Singapore a living case study on how urban design can actively improve the environment. However, the green aesthetics often highlighted on social media are just the surface of Singapore's true appeal. Its core value lies in urban governance that creates a clean, orderly, and safe environment, a stark contrast to the reality of many major Western cities. Take Philadelphia, where streets filled with homelessness, drug addicts lying helpless, and scattered trash have become everyday sights. Public parks meant for recreation often turn into red zones for illegal activity, reflecting systemic failures in urban management. What sets Singapore apart isn't just its Instagrammable vertical gardens, but its ability to maintain consistent urban discipline in every corner, from skyscraper rooftops lush with greenery to ordinary neighborhood sidewalks. While rooftop gardens in New York or Los Angeles often become homeless shelters, similar spaces in Singapore remain pristine and safely enjoyed by the public. This paradox keeps Singapore at the center of debate. How can a city be so green and technologically advanced, while enforcing social discipline that, by many Western standards, seems excessively strict? The answer may lie in Singapore's willingness to make tough choices rarely seen elsewhere. Choices between individual freedom and collective order, between personal rights and social responsibility. Amid global admiration for Singapore's achievements, a controversial tweet sparked a firestorm online. Its core argument, the safety and cleanliness that define this city-state, are built on an unforgiving judicial system, mandatory death sentences for drug traffickers, caning until blood is drawn for vandals, and hefty fines for minor infractions like littering cigarette butts. The viral tweet, viewed over 14 million times, touched a nerve in the eternal debate between individual rights and social order. The statistics are undeniable. Singapore's crime rate is among the lowest globally, with safety rankings consistently at the top. Its judicial system is designed for maximum deterrence. Caning, officially termed corporal punishment, is applied for offenses ranging from theft and property damage to immigration violations. The procedure follows strict protocols. Male offenders, women are exempt, are caned on the bare buttocks with a 1.2 kilograms rattan rod, with doctors on standby to ensure no more than 24 strokes, the physiological limit a human body can endure without fatal risk. Cases of Westerners facing this system often serve as global warnings. One of the most famous involved Michael Fay, an American teenager caned for vandalism in 1994, prompting direct intervention from President Clinton. More recently, a British national received 20 years in prison plus 24 cane strokes for trafficking 450 grams of cannabis, a quantity that in many Western countries would only warrant rehabilitation. In his memoir, he described waiting in line to hear other inmates' screams before his turn as a life-altering trauma. For drugs, Singapore enforces zero tolerance. The law is clear. Possessing 15 grams of heroin or 30 grams of cocaine qualifies as trafficking, punishable by mandatory death. Executions are carried out with Singaporean efficiency. Prisoners are notified 4 days in advance, then hanged at dawn in Changi prison. Compare this to the US, which has executed only 1,500 inmates since 1976, while Singapore, with 1/60th the population, has executed around 400 drug offenders since 1991. Supporters argue that it's the certainty of punishment, not its severity, that creates deterrence. Unlocked storefronts, needle-free public parks, and near-zero corruption attest to its effectiveness. Critics, however, point to Amnesty International reports on migrant workers harshly punished for minor infractions, or studies showing 95% of drug-related executions involve vulnerable groups. At the heart of this debate lies a philosophical question: how much personal freedom are we willing to sacrifice for collective order? While the West grapples with opioid crises and street violence, Singapore offers a radical alternative, with all its accompanying controversies. Like its meticulously controlled vertical gardens, Singapore's legal system may create a safe society, but at a cost not all nations are willing to pay.
While we seek to help abusers, we take a tough approach against drug traffickers. We have zero tolerance for those who destroy the lives of others for money. The death penalty is imposed on persons who traffic specified amounts. For example, a person who traffics 15 grams of pure heroin, which is enough to feed the addiction of about 180 abusers for a week, will face capital punishment. The evidence shows clearly that the death penalty has been an effective deterrent. In 1990, we introduced the death penalty for trafficking more than 1.2 kilograms of opium. In the 4 years that followed, there was a 66% reduction in the average net weight of opium trafficked. A 2021 study was conducted in parts of the region, and it showed, and I put up the figures, 87% of those surveyed, this is 9 out of 10, believed that the death penalty deters people from trafficking substantial amounts of drugs into Singapore. 83%, it's 8 out of 10, believe that the death penalty is more effective than life imprisonment in deterring drug trafficking. And 86% believed that the death penalty deters serious crimes in Singapore.
Amid global debates on the efficacy of harsh punishments, Singapore presents a compelling case study. With a murder rate of just 0.2 per 100,000 people, 35 times lower than the US, this city-state demonstrates how certainty of punishment, not just severity, optimizes deterrence. While the American legal system allows 98% of death row inmates decades of appeals, turning justice into an endless ritual, Singapore takes a different approach. Executions carried out within 4 days of final sentencing and caning administered within weeks create an undeniable disincentive. Singapore's caning mechanism is designed with psychological precision. Unlike Western prisons, which often become schools for crime, caning follows strict protocols under official supervision and medical oversight. The process is engineered to deliver acute, calculated pain while leaving permanent physical scars as long-term reminders. Crucially, the procedure is designed to prevent romanticization. Offenders are bound in a humiliating position during execution, eliminating any notion of it being a badge of honor in criminal subcultures. The contrast with the US is stark. In many American states, prison time enhances criminal status. High-level drug traffickers often gain more influence post-release, while petty offenders find new criminal networks behind bars. Singapore's system, with its painful and shameful physical punishments, effectively breaks this cycle.
They may believe that if you're kind to drug traffickers, you get a better society. In America, they're changing their minds and they're sending people back to death row. In Singapore, before you land, the air hostess or the steward will announce that there are very heavy penalties if you're found with more than a stated number of grams of certain prohibited drugs. And if you still come in with a few kilos of them, which will destroy hundreds, thousands of families, one death is too kind, because you're killing that family every day for years and years and years, that a daughter or a son is an addict. But what would happen if we send them all to prison for 5, 10 years, and we'll have to make more prisons because there'll be such an endless stream of them? And this is despite the death penalty. The rewards are so enormous that people are willing to risk it. And why not?
Singapore's lessons may not be universally applicable, but they offer crucial insights into criminal psychology. When punishment is certain and immediate, not just possible and delayed, human behavior adapts significantly. This isn't just theory. It's reality etched into Singapore's impressive safety statistics and global recognition of its quality of life. Behind Singapore's gleaming success lies an uncomfortable truth. A civilized, advanced society doesn't emerge spontaneously. It must be built and maintained with iron discipline. While Singapore benefits from certain demographic advantages, like a relatively homogeneous population and small size, these shouldn't obscure the fundamental lesson of its model. The core takeaway is this: free and prosperous societies cannot exist without a foundation of strict order. History repeatedly shows that when civilizations hesitate to enforce laws firmly, the result isn't greater freedom, but inevitable social decay. We see this in many major Western cities. Once safe streets now overrun by drug addicts, businesses forced to close due to repeated looting, and ordinary citizens living in fear of random violence. The comfort we enjoy today was built by previous generations willing to make hard choices, unpopular decisions, firm actions against crime, and impartial law enforcement. They understood a principle we often forget today. Misplaced mercy isn't virtue, but a betrayal of civilized society. Singapore's model teaches that justice must have teeth. It must bite those who threaten social order. When a drug trafficker knows he'll face execution, not rehab or a short sentence, his calculations change drastically. When a vandal knows destruction means painful, humiliating caning, not just a negligible fine, he thinks twice. This is the price of civilization, the sacrifices required to maintain a livable society. The cost may include discomfort at seeing criminals punished or international criticism for being too harsh. But the alternative, a society surrendering to its most destructive elements, is a far steeper price to pay. Singapore isn't perfect, and not every aspect of its model should be blindly copied. But in a world increasingly threatened by social chaos, its core lesson remains relevant. Firm law enforcement isn't optional. It's a moral duty for anyone who cares about civilization's survival. A society that cannot defend itself from its own destroyers will ultimately fall victim to misguided kindness. History won't remember us for our mercy, but for our courage to uphold what is right.